What if I told you that hidden behind this happy face is a sadness? A sadness that comes from an inability to win it all. That after seeing the looks of disbelief when he says he's going to win it all, caused him to make a splash trade, torpedoing his chances at a future ring. What if I told you that even though he'll never win the MFL championship, he'll always have his girl, and he'll always have his boys? 30 stories, 30 filmmakers, 30 years. MFL's 30 for 30. If you're not first, you're last. Directed by Sheridan Scala.
Both Landon and Will picked every game correct in Week 9, and we have a four-way tie for the lead. Don't look now, but the Mix and Micheladas have moved up a ranking in the power ranking, making it slightly less ridiculous that you're somehow ranked second in the overall league standings. Meanwhile, the rich homie Saquon now 6th in the league, despite being power ranked number 1. A 3-1 week for the rest of the country versus the San Diego boys last week, making the San Diego boys head-to-head lead only 14-12 in wins this season. In our first match of the week, TD in your mouth looking for his 4th straight win. No bye weeks this week to hold you down, got a full lineup going. Meanwhile, the rich homie Saquons, who have lost 2 in a row, have both of his wide receivers on bye. The league not feeling you this week, 9 votes to 3 in favor of Taylor. I'm not sure what Landon's process has been this year, but it's got him out of the basement, which is good enough. And this week going up against Dr. Cuddy, who despite everyone picking against him pretty much every week, keeps winning, keeps staying at the top of the division. This week's no different, though, with Landon getting 7 votes to 5. One of the hottest teams in the league right now, Blitz All Night, who has another stellar lineup projection this week, with the Crying Jordans only a 1% chance to win, although 2 people in the league did pick you to win this one, Brandon. Sheridan looks like he's got this one locked up, although if you lose, I'm guessing next week 30 for 30 might be on you. Despite having only 1 win this year, Schott looking like he has a decent lineup this week, at least from a projection standpoint. And Saved by the Bell still waiting for Le'Veon to get off his ass and play. The league vote might have been different had they seen the Thursday night result prior to, but either way, 11 votes to 1 in favor of the K-Mesh. It's a race to the bottom between Dino and Schott, and Dino looking like this could be a good opportunity for him to get a win this week until Leonard Fournette finally came back into the lineup for the former Fighting Fizz. That one's got the swing vote here 10-2 in favor of Mr. Coombs. Chalupa Batman at 8-1, Dummy Tough at 8-1, the top 2 MFL teams this week's game of the week. Dummy Tough's new remodel lineup unhindered by bye weeks in this one. So many keepers to choose from. Whatever will he do? While Chalupa Batman has finally given up on LaShawn McCoy, hoping that Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara can continue to get him most of his points. Although Dummy Tough does seem to buckle teams. Doesn't matter. This week the league has voted 9 votes to 3 in favor of Chalupa Batman. For a reaction on the MFL doubting his team, let's go to this week's expert advice from a non-fantasy expert, Dummy Tough himself, Brad Bemke.
Fellas, shout out Kev, who always seems to hit me up at the opportune time to be the fantasy football advice from a fantasy football expert representative of the week, in which I'm going to tell you this week how to make your team go from tough to dummy and how to make it dummy tough. This is a little bit how. Obviously, every year, it's inevitable we're going to start the year with a draft. After the draft, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to gauge which guys you want to keep around for a little bit, let them marinate. Some guys on your team, you're just going to want to wait until they have a great week and then doink, ship them off. Until everybody on your team is gone and you have nobody on your team that you drafted. What's replacing those people that you drafted are key elements to your team, which I'm going to call dummy depth. And you want dummy depth because it's going to work as trade bait or people that are going to help you through the bye weeks and just keep you with a consistent score of over 100 so that teams just buckle when they see your lineup. This is what's happened this year, and all of a sudden I got keepers on my team, and I don't know, kind of looking at like a championship opportunity. And it's all because of the dummy depth and shipping all the guys that I got from the draft to other teams, because I draft like shit. It's always scuzz. After like 2 weeks, I realized fuck me, I was drunk on draft day. So trade all those guys, get rid of all your mistakes, and make your team go from tough to dummy and make it dummy tough. This has been Brad reporting live from San Diego. Sunny in November. It's like 85, but I got a thermal on, because I got to make it feel like it's winter somehow. But I'm talking too much. See you guys. Peace.
And we're going live in 5, 4, 3. Hello and good evening. Welcome to What You Missed in the group chat this week. I'm Taylor Davis reporting live from Studio 5. This week's top headlines. Kev tried to no avail to make some last-minute trade deadline magic, but with the terrible taste left in everyone's mouth from the one that I just made, not even Brad would accept Kev's gracious offer of the non-playing Steelers RB for the one active Steelers RB, putting up tight fantasy points. Because, Kamish a nice guy. Sick offer, Kev. Most of the league vocalized that they creamed their pants, while the league's newest member, Cherry Trey, cruised 197 points last week, just failing to hit the 200 mark, leaving the door open week 10 and 11 for Team TD and Yo Mouse prediction way back from week 2 that he would be the first team to eclipse the 200 mark. It took 9 weeks, but Shop finally realized that players on his bench could actually be put into his starting lineup. We continue to see disdain for the MFL as the oh God, I need to get some coffee. We continued to see disdain for the MFL as the damn it, we'll do it live. Continued disdain for the MFL as the owner formerly known as Can I Kick It trudges on with his final days in office, seeking a championship in hopes that will provide his restless soul a little bit of solace as he exits the league after 3 years. What's more surprising is that half the league somehow was unaware that Ron had Vontae Davis himself and announced his retiring mid-season. Dr. McGillicuddy, your antics will be missed. And finally, the injury bug strikes again for the redshirt roster as we add another fallen soldier to Dean's hit list. These guys continue to get pummeled like a Titleist Pro V1 from the T-Box. At this point, we'd like to take a moment of silence for all active and reserve members of the Ire to the 5th degree. Well, thanks for sticking in with us, and this concludes this week's broadcast of What You Missed in the group chat this week. Check in next Sunday or Thursday or Friday or Saturday, whenever the hell Kevin decides to release the video, for What You Missed and this week's top highlights in the MFL group chat.